What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. We are live this Saturday, another show for you guys. As you guys can see, the house looks a little different today. We did some housekeeping. A lot of things happened the last week. Hopefully, you guys like the new digs. Let me know about the layout, as well as we are now live on Twitter, Periscope. Check us out there if you cannot get to YouTube. You can watch on Twitter, man. We greatly appreciate you guys hanging out every single week. You guys fuck with us heavy. We fuck with you back. So let's go ahead and keep things moving. And we got a special guest this week today, too. So let's go ahead and just dive right into the panel. So we're going to start with you, middle-aged gamer. Once again, I want to say thank you for hanging out this Saturday with us, man. Greatly appreciate you chilling out with us. Let everybody know where you're at, where they can find you at, what you've been playing recently, just some simple things like that.
All right. Well, Blam, thank you very much for having me on the show panel. It's a pleasure to meet you guys all and chat. It's a lot of new faces that I've never met before in this universe, this YouTube universe on this side of things, and I'm super excited to be here. Yes, I am the middle-aged game guy. You can find me on Twitter at the middle-aged game guy. That's with a GY at the end. And on the Xbox side of things, you can find me at all capitals DEDMEAT1. Go ahead and add me. I will add you back. And on the PlayStation, all capitals, all one word, I am the Mag. That's with 2 G's. And what have I been playing lately? I just finished Mafia Definitive Edition, and I got to tell you, man, that is one hell of a game. It is a slow burn, but boy, when that thing gets going, like the first couple episodes, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here? And all of a sudden, by episode 3, episode 4, and man, that game just starts cooking after that. And man, is it ever good. And boy, by the end of it, you're just emotionally drained. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. On the PlayStation side, I am actually just finishing up my backlog before the PS5 comes out. Okay. And I just don't, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't know what's going on with the PS4, PS5, and the whole saves situation. So I thought to myself, let me clear out all these games and finish them, and then I'll start fresh eventually when I get the PS5.
Awesome. Well, once again, brother, glad to have you here, man. Once again, guys, Real Gamer, go check him out, Primetime Gaming. Check him out on Twitter as well. I'll put all of that stuff in the description below. Thank you for taking a little bit of time, man. Hope you have a good time here, man. We're going to dive right into things, but we're going to let my 3 amigos go. What's up with you, Stag? Let everybody know what's cooking with you. How you been this week, man?
I mean, I'm still alive, so that's a good thing, right?
Way to bring the heat, Stag. Way to bring
the heat. After that, radio disc jockey that came before me, man, I feel like I'm.
Hey, middle was hard to find.
I really kind of felt like I was on I was cruising down the road listening to some great talk show shit. And then he said he's working on his backlog, and I almost freaking spit out my beverage. Like, that's happening, but I mean, God, backlogs. Let's not even. I've been trying to work on mine, and I have literally every upcoming release from PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on pre-order right now. Like every physical copy, not digital stuff, but yeah. Like I keep going into Amazon every other day and scrolling upcoming releases, and I'm like, why do not pre-order Paw Patrol, Stagger? Do not do it. don't. And I haven't done it yet. So, or the new Ben 10 game. I'm proud of myself for not doing those two. But man, I've just been gaming hard as always. They got that Hall of Fame thing, and I was gonna push for that, and then people started going crazy. I mean, I saw into the Hall of Fame, and there's people that have already put up almost 50,000, and I'm
that's crazy.
I think I'm just gonna get the 12,500 gamer score points. The 10,000 points you can get, but then there's 2,500 other you can get for doing stuff. So I'm just I'll probably put up a bunch this month, but there's no way I'm gonna get that Hall of Fame shit. I've done too many easy completions, but it's a cool thing to do. But man, I've just been I think I'm back on the push for 1 million so that I can stop playing Xbox for a while and actually switch over to my PlayStation 4 and play all these unwrapped games I have. So Middle Age was saying, get to that backlog, and I have got a hefty PlayStation 4 backlog, and I have both consoles on pre-order, so it's going to be interesting what happens to me next gen with current and next. So just trying to get the damn games in, man.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Every single week, man, you bring in the heat. You always come in here, whether you're in the chat or actually on the panel.
I had a migraine last week. Shit happened.
Yeah, but you kept it real in that chat. You was going crazy, so we appreciate you keeping it hype, man. But let's throw this over to you, Centurion, man. Let everybody know what's cooking up with you. How you been doing this week, brother?
I am doing good, man. It is Saturday night. Stagger's out here tossing salad jokes. I am ready to
Not
have
jokes,
some
just
games.
pasta salads only. I mean,
No, dude. Let's just say
There's
if,
zero context to that to the
if the
chat.
salad tossing
They know
goes
what
the
a
direction
salad
it could
tossing
do-
is.
Oh man,
Wow.
huh?
Just
What?
got off the rail real quick.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say it's just that whole thing. Like people need to like. Oh my god, I've almost want to see Stagger go into salad
I need
tossing.
a little heart in my salad, you know. Artichoke hearts.
Oh my god. Anyways, as I was saying, it's Saturday night. We get to talk games. When I got in here, for some reason, PTK put me on right over a PlayStation controller. I thought it was happening.
It was
I was
intentional.
like,
Blow
is
on
this
it?
how it's gonna be?
Blow on it?
Huh? Did I blow on it? Oh no! Actually, I thought it was going to be one of those things again where I was like, "So, how it's going to be? You're going to pull the rug out from underneath me. You're just going to switch up the pro." I heard that you were going to make some changes. I didn't know it was going to be like this. Really? I have to go through this again?
Yeah, man. Hey.
You gotta be willing to adjust to the fly. Okay.
Yeah, man. You got to make adjustments. But no, I
Right.
appreciate you here every single week too, Centurion, man. Thank you.
Have you
Hanging out.
checked out, bro? Have you checked out Star Wars Squadron though?
Who, me? No, I have not.
Has anybody checked out Star Wars Squadron? Or am I the
Oh
only
yeah, no, it's I'm loving it.
I heard the
I'm
flying
loving it.
mechanics is very similar to Anthem, so I mean,
What?
Well, actually, the flying mechanic. Well,
we're just hitting all the nails on the head right at the beginning of the show.
Too much. Get it out the way, right? Get it out the
yeah,
way. Let's
right.
go roll
But
over
no,
to
I'm having fun with it. It's a great game for those who are Star Wars fans that can handle that. Did any of you guys play Ace Combat?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
heard it.
I heard a rumor that it's somebody likened it to like Crimson Skies, though.
What?
I never played
Like the
Crimson
flying
Sky.
mechanic.
I like it that you have your throttle and roll controls. There's all sort like the D-pad controls all sorts of functions depending on what fighter you're using.
yeah.
But I mean the mechanics are great, and honestly, I've seen some more expensive games with a lot less polish to them. I mean, for $40,
Yeah.
what you're getting is pretty decent. I'm having fun with it. I mean, that moment like you get in the game and it actually like literally tells you push A to turn on ship systems. You're just like, well, this should be fun. You flip the switch, it all starts coming to life, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting kind of excited all of a sudden.
All right, let's go ahead and throw this over to Fuzz. Yeah, let's go and throw this over to Fuzz, man. So go ahead, Fuzz.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be here. A lot of stuff in the past week on news, so yeah, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any more time.
All right, well, we appreciate everybody hanging out live, man, watching. Retweet the show, like the show. We appreciate everybody. Boom, shout out to you, everybody in the chat. She Snow, Shown 2 Mod of the Year. Chef Trouble, shout out to you, man. New faces in here, too. We appreciate the support every single week. So let's dive right in, man. We're not going to talk anymore, so let's get it started. So once again, poll of the week. Always, most of the time, we start the show with a poll of the week. If we don't, it's very rare, but I put it up every single Monday on Twitter. Follow me there if you have not already, and we talk about it on the show every Saturday. So poll of the week this week was, now that we are getting more info from people that have tested the Xbox Series X, which feature are you most excited about and why? I had 3 options this time around. Quick resume, SSD / reduced load times, or updated BC game. So the SSD reduced load times, landslide win, 61%. Updated BC game, 22%. Quick resume, 16%. Sorry. So it was a landslide. So people love those short load times. So I'm kind of back and forth about that, about which option that I would have chosen. We'll start with you, Middle, on which of the 3 options would you choose and why? Which one are you most excited about? And have you heard about any details about each one in particular?
Well, you know what? The thing that excited me the most, honestly, is the SSD, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit later about about the start, about the hands-on impressions and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to reserve some of those comments for that. But the SSD, absolutely, because it's going to immerse you into the gaming experience a lot better, a lot quicker. Never mind just the fast loading times; it doesn't take you out of the experience, right? And I was watching some of those things, and that's what excited me the most about any of the options. So I mean, other than that, I mean, quick. Again, we'll get into those other things in more detail. But the other ones, quick resume, not, I don't know. It's, again, it's one of those things. I'm going to give you my feelings on that a little bit later.
Okay.
So I don't want to hold you up on that. But SSD, 100%, I would have voted on that without question.
I was conflicted though, man. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you just said. The only reason I was conflicted because I spent all those long load times is when I used to go get that was when I made my snack run. No more load time, no more snack runs. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Mhm.
That is very selfish of Xbox to only think of themselves in that scenario. No, I'm just playing, but ultimately, I mean, I think that's a landslide for movie. I don't even think I'm gonna get used to the load times right away. That's something that we're just gonna have to get used to over time, things instantly loading in, because as of right now, we thought we were going to get that with this last generation. If you remember, when back in 2013, we thought we were going to get those type of features, and it didn't really pan out. We had some, but they weren't to the degree that they are now. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. Just get your opinion on what are the three options you chose and why, brother.
So I do have one quick question.
Yeah.
Doesn't Quick Resume have a little bit to do with the fact that it is an SSD? Wouldn't it? Like,
as far as storing those like five different games,
making that more possible to save your game in the spot you were at and then quickly resume right back to it without loading the game again.
I don't know, Fuzz. You want to take that, Fuzz? I don't know if that's.
I think it is a bit of the SSD as well as the programming to put it in a suspend state, but I think it's a bit of both, but more so the software end of things. Like the SSD definitely cuts the time down, but I think the multi-program thing is the programming on the other end, or the memory, as far as how much memory is available.
Okay, cool. I mean, I voted SSD because fuck load times. I'm really looking forward to Quick Resume as well. I could have easily swayed that way just because, I mean, if anybody knows I play a lot of fucking games, and I do, like today I've played I think 4 or 5 different games as it is. I mean, I've been on my PC and I've been on my Xbox today, but on Xbox I've played 3 different games, so it would have been one of those days where obviously I would have just jumped. And I mean, I'm playing, PGA Tour 2K21 right now. I'm playing KOA not like currently, but I could have Quick Resume would work great for me on that, because I could just, like, if I get bored with running around slicing things up in Kingdoms of Amalur, I can go play a round of golf or whatever else. But man, not having load times, dude, or at least reduce. Like we've seen the text image of comparisons of like Red Dead Redemption 2 was cut down to what, a 30-second load time instead of like,
there's some drastic
2 minutes or something, and all those other, like, the Outer Worlds loading in like 7 seconds and just stuff like that, so I think that's going to be really cool. And just not having, I'm like, I mean, now I'm actually going to have to use the pause button to go to the bathroom. So
that's fun.
You said snack time. I was like, man, I always would run to the bathroom during load time. So
yeah, I mean, because as a gamer, we have that like internal clock essentially. Like we know, okay, all right, I'm playing Anthem. I'm gonna have some time to get up.
Hey, he even brought up Anthem.
Well, I mean, it was on my brain. It was the first thing I could think of. But anyway, there's a bunch of other games that I could have said as well. But either way, it's definitely something that we're all going to have to get used to, because as snappy as these consoles are going to be, it's going to be awesome. Go ahead, Fred.
I see what New's saying in chat, but like raw graphical power and processing and making games even more spectacular doesn't make a game good for me. You know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying, New, but that's just, there's more to gaming than just that. I mean, granted, it's part of the next gen, but we'll see what they give us. So,
yeah, that's
an option.
No, it wasn't either, because I mean that's something that's expected. These other features are kind of cherries on top. So I mean, maybe the SSD is expected as well, but
that thing though, like everybody wants like these games more like what PlayStation offers. It's just, man, these two consoles, these two companies offer 2 entirely different experiences, and I don't understand why people don't understand that. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll dive into that.
Or push so hard to get the other one to do what the other one's doing. I mean, not everybody does the same thing, and multiple aspects of everything, and that's just kind of the way I look at it. I'm happy with what both of them are doing. So, well, I mean, this gen. I don't know about next gen. So.
All right.
Anyway,
all right.
I'll shut up now.
let's toss this over to Centurion. No, once again, good point. And I want to, before we get to you, Centurion, I want to bring middle age back real quick because I want to piggyback off something. Now, I know we talked about those features specifically, but which one middle age you think you're going to take advantage of? I mean, you think that the SSD one is one that you're going to take advantage of the most often? You feel like that's something that you could see being the biggest feature?
Well, not the biggest feature. What was now the third thing that you were mentioning was also what backwards compatibility games, correct?
Updated games, updated graphics.
See, now that's going to actually be a bigger thing to a lot of people now, not to me, and maybe not to all everybody here in the panel or in the chat. Like most of us are hardcore gamers. The thing is, there's going to be a whole generation of people that haven't played these games before. Like, let's say Gears 5. Let's say, with what Xbox is doing right now and bringing up all these new customers who are actually going to be gravitating towards the Xbox console for one reason or another. Okay, we all know that they're doing a great job with this new gen coming up. Now, what I'm thinking is this. A lot of them haven't played Gears 5. A lot of them haven't played Sea of Thieves. A lot of them haven't played any of those games. So now they're going to walk into this new gen, okay, and they're going to be getting next gen upgrades on these games that came out last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And to them, it's going to be all brand new experiences. So essentially, in a way, in a very indirect way, Microsoft for new customers has created next gen games out of old gen games, right? So this is
I've never looked at it that way. Wow.
You see what I'm getting at? Because you can't think about us. All right. We've already played every single one of those games. You got to think about those people that are coming up and those people that are coming into the console space now. Now you've got a console at $299. You're going to get a lot of casuals come in there and they go, what's this Gears? I've heard about this Gears business. You'd be surprised how many people have not played Gears of War.
Yeah.
Okay. Now all of a sudden you're playing Gears of War 5 at 4K 4K 120, if I'm not mistaken. Can you imagine? Yeah. So now, and then ray tracing and everything else, it's going to be a magnificent experience. So you won't even have to buy a next gen game. First of all, it's sitting right there in Game Pass, and second of all, and this is just an example, right? Yeah. So you look at it that way, they've actually opened the door to a lot of new customers getting a lot of new experiences they never got before. So that actually is going to be the biggest impact. But for me, who's already played all those games, I'm still, my hill is still the SSD. So
Okay. No, that's a great point of view, and I'm glad I asked that question because I
think we're all going to get the most use out of that SSD.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah,
just by proxy, because it's just going to be a thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, as soon as you boot the console up, you'll see the benefits immediately. As soon as you take it out the box. Yeah, so cool. Let's throw this over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion on out of those three options, brother. Which one you like? Which one would you have picked and why?
Yes, I think Netflix would work great.
Nah, get the.
Sorry, had to. Oh man, I am looking forward to answering the real questions. I am going to do a video on this. I want to get it out as soon as possible. I want to plug Anthem into this thing and see how long it takes to load in. Everybody's like dancing around that one. Well, look how fast it loaded over here. Well, look at this one. No. Put Anthem on there. Oh man. Anyways, but I had to vote for the SSD. I mean, I'm an RPG fanatic. I'm sorry, one of the biggest enemies in the world for any really well put together open world game is loading screens. Look at Skyrim, look at Fallout. I mean, there is numerous games that are plagued by loading screens, even Anthem. Maybe Anthem was just ahead of its time, and a console like this could help Anthem kind of overcome some of that stuff.
No, you're right. That's another thing too that we haven't looked at, but I'll piggyback on that once Fuzz gets done.
But yeah, for me, it's loading screens definitely, and this SSD is going to make a lot more possible when it comes to graphics on any game, when it comes to graphics on older games. That's why a lot of developers have championed Microsoft and PlayStation for wanting to kind of flip the script and go with these faster drives, because as soon as these consoles hit market, this puts the PC community in a very interesting spot, because at that moment, that actually makes PC the lowest common denominator, because in the next couple years, we already know Microsoft and PlayStation will eventually phase out the older models, the Xbox Ones and the PS4s, and they're all going to be using this new SSD technology. And at that point, I'm going to be really curious to see if PC is going to kind of step up and change their minimum spec on a lot of stuff. Or is it going to be at that point that it's no longer relevant that any console holds back gaming? Because as long as there's a mechanical hard drive involved in the equation, that's going to be what holds back gaming. And that's why I am really excited about these hard drives. If like I've seen the math on, I've also seen the tech on how these hard drives make a lot possible.
Yeah, it's exciting. It really, really is exciting, and it's so funny because a lot of people we harp on like graphics, and that's where we're supposed to see the next gen upgrade usually. But a lot of times it's in the small things like the SSDs and like enemies on screen, all these other small things that really show we're not in, this is something that's not capable on the last gen hardware.
Until 8K really becomes a big thing on the market, graphics have plateaued. I am sorry. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to be the, that one person that says you can't get any more, but there's only so much the human eye can process. And we're kind of plateauing when it comes to graphics, and there is other things involved in gaming than just graphics. And I'm actually enjoying games that actually put a little bit more effort into creating a little bit more of an immersive experience in the gameplay. What'd you say, Stag?
Gameplay and gameplay and story is better than graphics. What?
Yeah,
God forbid.
I know, and so is all you can eat breadsticks and salad at the Olive Garden.
Graphics is way better than Olive Garden.
No, well, you're right.
Yeah, I'm rather go to Red Lobster and get them fucking cheese biscuits. So I'm just.
Oh, God.
Well, let's throw this over to you then, first, so we can wrap this topic up. But yeah, no, I agree with just about everything you said, man. It's going to be a disparity, and we'll see a lot of the big changes and some of the other features, maybe not graphically as much right away. But let's get this to you first, so we can wrap this particular topic up. So, out of the three options, bro, which one would you choose and why, man?
I wanted a fourth option of all the above, but to narrow things down, pretty much same as everyone else on this one. The SSD because of load times. That's hands down. That's between the three options as far as quick resume and the updated back and pat as far as for some of the games, which is it's still cool and all, but I think load times more so than anything, because that's on some of the back and pat games as well as some of the games that are coming up, for this next generation. But load times. Like if we can get things down to seconds instead of minutes, I'm happy. I'm all for it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's universal. Like you said, that's the one that everybody's going to see the benefit of that right away. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Once again, everybody in here hanging out with us in the chat, let us know how you guys feel about the conversation we're having, the topics, answers, things like that. Keep the chat going, retweet the show. We greatly appreciate you guys. Now let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the podcast. This is what we came for. This is what you guys actually came for too as well. So we're talking about Xbox Series X hands-on impressions. So a lot of influencers, YouTubers, whatever you want to call them, got their hands on an Xbox Series X, and they had a lot to say about it. So I don't know if any of you guys here have seen some of the YouTube videos and impression videos, but if you have, I'm just going to go ahead and go around and we'll just get our general idea on, what you guys think about the console. Has it changed your opinion on some of the information we heard previously before we got these demos and things? So we'll start with you, Middle-Age, our guest here. Have you seen any videos and anything impressed you? Anything stuck out about what people have been saying?
Absolutely. Now, let me tell you something. Am I jealous? A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
just a little bit. But honestly, one thing, it was just a quick little video I watched of Jeff Grubb, actually. He did the little startup screen.
Yeah.
And I mean, first of all, let me just say this. Aesthetically, it looks so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds so cool. I mean, I know it sounds kind of petty because it was just, but I looked at it and I was just like, oh, that is so dope. So anyway, that was really good. Man, that startup was fast though. That was incredible. I couldn't believe how fast it just did the little thing, and all of a sudden, bang, you're right there, right on the home screen, loaded up, ready to go. Those SSD speeds. Another video I was watching, they showed there was two great games I saw: Warframe and Outer Worlds.
Okay.
And they showed the side-by-side comparison. So I actually had to write them down. I wrote down the times because otherwise I would have forgot. But the on the Series X, it was 25 seconds to load Warframe. On the One X, which is currently still the most powerful console out there, it was 1 minute and change.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah, it was major. The other one they showed was Outer Worlds. It was an impressive 6 seconds on the Series X. On the One X, it was 28 seconds. So,
wow.
That's almost 5 times faster if you're thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, no more looking at your phone, okay, to update your Twitter in between matches or in between levels. I'll tell you, that's over. So, the other good thing is now I actually have a little bit of a thing, Staggerilla. I'm just going to kind of go a little bit against what you're saying here. You were talking about the quick resume feature. Let's be honest, guys. I mean, other than Staggerilla here, how many people are playing 5 games at once? Like mostly single player games, besides Staggerilla, because I can't do it.
Don't know much about
You must not know what it's like to live with attention deficit disorder.
Well, I got to tell you, man, unless you're Data from Star Trek, I mean, I can't play 5 games at once. Okay, I'm not an android.
Dude, my god!
You
I don't play them all. Like I definitely have like a current rotation of like 3 to 5 games that I'm like.
Right.
One day I feel like playing this, the other day I feel like playing that, and
right.
So
but are you gonna be playing them back to back to back?
So sometimes I'll flip between because like I'll be like, oh screw this dude's pissing me off. I'm gonna go play ESO for a couple hours.
Actually, about gamers here, middle-aged.
Centurion. Let me tell you something. You brought up a good point there. Multiplayer games, for obvious reasons, are not going to work the same way with quick resume. Okay,
because that too, yeah.
So that's a thing. See, like I know that people jump from multiplayer to multiplayer. Like let's say I'm playing, Call of Duty, whatever. Someone hits me up. Right, and all of a sudden they say, hey, let's play, I don't know, whatever. Let's play Battlefield. I'm like, all right. So then I jump out of that game, go in that game. You're not going to be quick resuming nothing.
No.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
So
the fact that you would already have the game loaded up and you'd already be ready to kind of just start match queue if you're at the screen.
To piggyback on that, I saw who was YouTuber? I think it was Austin Evans or something like that. He was bouncing around between a few different games and he was jumping in and out of Call of Duty. And every time he went back to Call of Duty, he was in the lobby, but he was like timed out. Like he was in a game, but he ended up being timed out. So he ended up just bouncing. So I'm not Stag, but Centurion is right. You'll be in the lobby, so you'll be.
It's same like with Destiny. Yeah. With Destiny, if you're hanging out even in the oh my god, the frickin' place where the giant sphere.
Put the tower.
No matter where you're at, if you're on any planet of any kind, Destiny will kind of like kick you out and put you back in orbit.
Yeah, that's right.
Elder Scrolls, you got like 15 minutes and 10. It actually varies in some games based on how crowded the server is. But generally it's around 10-15 minutes in ESO before it kicks you to the title screen. So any online game, it's going to time you out for sure and put you back at the title screen.
But I mean, at least you're not going to be waiting long.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to sit there, you get timed out, and all of a sudden you're like, ugh. And then that's like 3-4 minutes of loading to get you back into Destiny or whatever.
So, that's also talking about current gen games. Who knows how they're going to utilize those features going forward?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I don't know. I just can't see myself doing a lot of those single player games, like 5 of them at once or 3 or 4.
Oh my God.
I mean, even when I go from PlayStation,
single player games I got going at once.
See, I don't know how you do it, man. Like when I go from Xbox to PlayStation, the game's like press X to live, and I'm hammering out like I'm pressing X.
No, you're not.
And then all of a sudden I realize, oh no, shit, I'm pressing square. Right? You know what I mean? And then I
one
die.
game at a time on my PlayStation though, so I can see your point there.
I don't know. I'm getting older, okay? I'm 46 years old. Maybe my brain's not working the same.
Does that mean later on in life where you're going to catch yourself blowing onto a Series X controller for no reason?
30 years, I'm going to not be able to play more than one game at a time? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. Getting too old for this shit. But anyways, I got to tell you one thing, though. With that little gripe, okay, and it's not even a gripe, okay, that's just a personal thing that I'm just not going to use. I think it's a fantastic feature for everybody. I just don't think I'm going to utilize it, and I'm only saying that now because it's not in my hands. Because you watch, as soon as I get that quick resume in my hands, you watch, I'll be using it every day. But the cool thing is that what they're giving this to you for free, okay, and these are this speaks volumes to what Xbox is doing and moving forward, compared to They're competitors. But either way, I'm super excited for this machine. Okay, and think about this, boys. It is literally 2 paychecks away. Think about that for a minute.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
that Xbox is 2 paychecks away.
Yeah, let's get it. So yeah, but once again, you brought up a lot of great points. And some of those features may be more utilized depending on the type of gamer you are. You know what I'm saying? But I think we're all going to reap the benefits of, because a lot of times we don't know what we want as gamers until we get it. We don't realize we need the feature till we actually get it. So
that's what I was saying. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just saying that now. Watch me use it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. Just get your opinion, man. You already spilled the beans. We know your ass didn't watch no hands-on videos, but doesn't matter.
I did read an article just so.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Nothing worth saying. So, I mean, like one of the big takeaways, since we're harping on quick resume, is a couple of the articles. I did read more than one article, but a couple of the articles that I did read were talking about how the people reviewing it and talking about that feature alone feel like that is going to be a game changer next gen. And I really believe it is, giving people the freedom. I mean, going along with the no load times, if you have 4 or 5 games that you have paused in a spot, and you don't have to granted, it's going to be digital, obviously, and that it'll have to be a digital game. You won't have to load your game in. You won't have to freaking sign in, load in. You just, bam, you were shooting somebody in GTA 5 because you're all going to be playing it again. Well, some of you. Without that, you can be doing a campaign mission in Battlefield or playing around a golf. You can just jump between whatever. So that's honestly really cool. And for me, like the whole backwards compatibility thing, and like it's right now. I mean, the people, the hands-on people had 500 games, and it's going to be more. That's just what's been released.
Yeah.
Right now. But that's for me. That's awesome. I mean, I still have my 360 hooked up to my main TV. I still plan on I know it's not going to be everything, but man, just being able to play 3 to 4 generations of Xbox games on the new system is freaking amazing to me. So I wish Nintendo. Oh wait, not Nintendo. Would do that same thing, but no, man, it looks great. I didn't watch a lot. I don't like to over immerse myself in the news, especially for that kind of stuff, because like Middle Age said, 2 paychecks is going to be in our hands. So
yeah,
I want to do that hands on myself. I don't want to not ruin it for myself, but just it is cool to see what these people are getting to play with and the fun they're having. But it's kind of like, you know what, fuck you. It's not fair. I just, man, I'm excited. So, but yeah, I don't really. I guess I'm done.
No, but once again, everybody, these features they're just gonna mean different for different people, man. We're all so excited, and we all are actually a bit jealous that some of these people got hands on these consoles early, but we definitely understand. So let's throw it over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion, man, on some of the maybe hands-on impressions you saw, some of the things that stuck out about, maybe cemented, kind of cemented some of the information we already got about the Series X and how it performs, things like that.
Oh my gosh, man. I want to make so many wise ass cracks right now. It's not even right. Oh, man. Huh?
Do it.
Right. Well, I wasn't allowed to have one of these consoles because apparently I'm not that special or cool. I really appreciate PTK thinking that I would have a hands-on experience with the console. The one thing I do want to point out is, at least in some of the demos I saw, they pointed out that these consoles are demo models. They're not actually official. They're not actually official consoles. At least the 2 that I saw, like the one from The Verge, they even said that these aren't exactly official consoles. They've been set up in a way just so that way they can show off some of the features, but they're also not supposed to show certain features.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Okay. Some of the newer ones got the retail ones though, like some of the smaller YouTubers or smaller influencers got them, but like the big like media ones, all of those are like pre-production. So the ones you'll see like this coming week, those are the retail version.
Right. Well, still, it's great to see. Like, this is how Microsoft markets. They kind of put it out there for people to show it off for them because, you never want to really see someone up there waving their hands around like Don Matrix showing off a console. You always want to have a little bit of a hands-on approach from somebody that could do a way better job. So definitely it was interesting to watch these guys play around with it. You can obviously see that the console's not as big as the PS5 is going to be. But
it's still kind of big.
It is big, yeah.
But it's definitely still big.
This is definitely going to change how people store their consoles for sure, unless you got that Series S. Oh, that's right. Tom Warren did help me figure out one thing, though. I really did think the Series S was a walkie-talkie. I thought me and Stag were going to be able to hit each other up on the side and be like, "Yo, dude, you got my
call sign out and everything, bro."
Right? Like I was so set up, ready for it, and then when Tom Warren totally ruined my dreams, letting me know that it's not really a walkie-talkie.
Centurion, I grew up in the '80s, man. Our cell phones were bigger than that.
Oh, dude. Okay, so I was born in '86. I happen to have a family member who was into like home security at that time. Oh, dude, he had a brick phone. I remember the brick phones. Yeah. Those things. There is a reason why they called them a brick.
You could literally kill somebody with that thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely.
It was a security device. Just throw it at them.
Right? You didn't have to worry about freaking somebody wanting to smash up a store for one of those things. That's for sure. Oh my gosh. But anyways, back onto these consoles. One thing that was established though is Microsoft is definitely getting out there though that the Series S is not being marketed as a 4K machine. It's being marketed as a 1440 machine, exactly what they said it's supposed to be. I'm really glad that we're not getting some kind of BS going on that people are getting confused. They don't know what console does what, what you get. And it's going to be really, really awesome. And like you said, couple paychecks, we're going to have these consoles at home and we're all going to be chit-chatting about it. And, it's going to be Christmas early in November.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you first so we can keep this thing moving, man. Just what's your opinion, man? You seen any hands-on impression videos and anything stick out about the videos?
Oh yeah, I couldn't get enough of it as far as for this week, as far as a lot of the media outlets and their videos and stuff. But I had 4 key takeaways from each of the videos. It was clear as day as far as what they were allowed to do with this first week. Faster loading times, smooth gameplay, better frames per second type of deal. Things whisper quiet, and it's a fingerprint magnet. That was about the only negative thing that I took away from it. But I mean, that once you put the thing in your entertainment center, that's probably the last time you're going to touch it unless you're putting discs still in it, type of thing,
or something like that.
But it was nice to see that. Even though I would have rather seen Grand Theft Auto 5 playing to see if there's any improvements without having to pay for this, remaster that they're going to do for next gen, see how that goes. But seeing Grand Theft Auto 4 do 60 almost locked without really having, Rockstar having to go in there and do anything, seeing that Sekiro was at 60 almost locked without, the dev having to go in there and do anything.
Non-optimized games.
Yeah, the auto HDR on stuff. So I can't wait to get back into, even though, yes, it's an old game, but the Mad Max game was one of my favorite games, one of those underrated gems this generation. I would love to see what that thing looks like with HDR.
That game is in my backlog, dude.
Mine too, dude.
Every person tells me it's a good game.
Yeah.
I will buy games based on, hey, that game's badass, and I'll buy it, and I'll just get to it eventually.
I think the wait will be well worth it, considering the auto HDR will probably make up for it. And then on this generation of console, I haven't tried it on my Xbox One X in a while, but I know when the bare bones, and it was the same case on my PS4 because I have it on both. It was a little choppy when you got to some of the convoys. but I would love to see what it's going to be like on the Series X at this point, considering how it's up the frames on a lot of games without any hands-on stuff from the devs is pretty outstanding. Now I know there were a few people, oh, why is Horizon 3 not 60 frames? I'm probably one of the few people that still plays Horizon 3, not regularly, but just to cash in the money that I get from playing all the Forza games. There's like a weekly budget that you get, and I'm up to like 500,000 every weekend. So I go in, collect the money, buy a car, or do some tunes on other cars that I haven't touched in a while, and then I switch right over to Horizon 4. But that's the one that's getting the the 4K 60, which finally we'll have a console. We'll have the PC version on console, basically. But so many good things as far as like the back and patch. So this week coming up, I think they're going to be allowed to play some of the first party or like cross-gen games, and then maybe not an unannounced, but like a upcoming current gen or new release. But man, awesome stuff that we saw this past week as far as the load times, back and pat, the quietness, the whole nine. So can't wait to see more.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. That was a great topic. Ultimately, I think to put a bow tie on this particular topic, I think like the biggest thing is new people that coming into the actual ecosystem, Xbox or PlayStation, are in for a treat. They're in for a real treat because they're getting a bunch of new experiences, new games that are old, that are actually old games but look like new games, like all kind of cool shit. So that's one thing that I noticed as well, man. And for the price point and for the type of tech that are in these machines, man, people are going to be in for a real treat. We are as well. So I know we're more the hardcore on that. Go ahead.
Not only the new consoles, but Xbox specifically, the real treat of xCloud for mobile gamers, or that now will have access to all that xCloud awesomeness. That's totally a new, not 100% new, but it's a definitely it's going to bring in a crowd that isn't currently on consoles, in my opinion. So
and that's a market they haven't realistically been able to touch till now. There's been no way to touch the mobile market. I mean, they've done it here and there.
Not just mobile, but it's a different kind of a handheld market. Sure, Nintendo's got the Switch, which is and the DS's, but the Switch is kind of like a handheld / console.
Yeah.
PS5 or PlayStation, has the Vita and the old PSPs and stuff. But I mean, just this xCloud is different because once they get it rolling on the iPhones, it'll being not having to have a specific device, like a PSP to play, and then you can play all the Xbox games they put to it. That's a new market, for everybody. Like I got that little Razer, was it the Kishi? I think.
Yeah.
Man, that's freaking great. I've been playing games I normally wouldn't play just specifically on the xCloud because I'm like, all right, cool. This feels like it should be played on my phone,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It just adds to that next gen experience for everybody.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. We're all in for a treat. So if you, whether you're on one side of the fence or the other, man, we all getting some cool shit in about 5 to 6. Well, at least Xbox, we know what's going on there. I know Sony, we will talk about that coming up. But either way, let's go ahead and move on. Now we're going to be talking about a little bit more about this Xbox Cinemax / Bethesda deal because I know people. The biggest question, obviously, coming out of that for most people was: are these games staying exclusive? Or they're not staying exclusive? Are they still going to be available everywhere? Now, I made a standalone video on this. Actually, I put the video out right before the podcast started, so go check that video out. But I'm going to let everybody here get into that, then I'll follow up last. We'll start with you, Midlays. Like, what were your initial thoughts as far as when you heard the news about the game staying? Well, now that they have the entire game from the parking lot all the way to the actual IP, they own everything.
Yeah.
So where you at on that? You think this was a move just specifically to get these games in-house to be able to dictate where they go? Because that's kind of where I'm at ultimately, because you don't spend that kind of money just to keep everything status quo. But I'll let you go ahead and talk on that, brother.
Yeah, they absolutely should keep these games to themselves, 100%, no questions. And I'll give you, this is not a biased opinion by any means, okay? But this is all business at the end of the day. And I thought at first, when I first heard the news, I thought for sure for sure they were going to leave everything the way it was, just like you said, status quo. It's going to go everywhere, multi-plat. They're just basically going to become like a new EA, so to speak, right? Just, publish the games and that's all there's to it. But then I started thinking about it and I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. If there's a company that could absorb $7.5 billion, it's Microsoft. Now, when I realized that, I thought about it after a while, the idea of putting those games everywhere, and I don't think they're going to do that. And in the words of the immortal King David, I had to bend the knee. Okay, and I realized, shout out to King David. And I realized I was 100% wrong. They are going to keep them on their own consoles and their own ecosystem. The reason why, you want people on your platform and you want to grow your user base, okay, to huge levels, then you've got to give people a reason to go to your ecosystem. Xbox at the end of the day isn't Activision, it's not EA, it's not Ubisoft. Okay, this is business and it's not a charity. So what they're going to be doing here is this. You want to run with the big dogs, you can't hand out IPs like candy. You got to lock it down, bring the people to you. That's what I see. And it's not like they're asking you, for your life savings. You could easily jump into this. I don't have to go into it all over again, okay? But you can get the Series X for $500. You can get the Series S for $300. And then think about this, actually. If you're, and of course, xCloud, you could just, subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, and you can play on your phone or your tablet, whatever you want. Now, the other thing is this is something a lot of people not talk about. You could pick up let me tell you something. When those new consoles come out, I bet you could buy a 1X for $100. Okay, easily from secondhand markets or whatever.
Yeah.
So an Xbox One X, which is still a beast of a console. Okay, it's still a beast of a console. You're still going to be able to play all those games, and they're going to be supported for at least a year or two. And guess what happens in a year or two? Then all of a sudden, when they stop supporting it, that Series S and the Series X are going to go down in price. So it's actually a good introductory into the ecosystem if you've never been a part of it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the way I'm seeing it.
Transition,
Exactly. And again, like I said, they're going to be supported for years. Now, the other thing is Microsoft has given you all these tools to enjoy their product. Okay. So you either do it or you don't, and so, the people crying foul, don't cry foul. I had to buy a PlayStation to buy God of War. Right. Okay. Did I cry about it? No. I went to go buy the PS4. I said, I want to play this game. So I went out and I bought the product that allowed me to play that particular product. And if you think about this, I talked about this actually last week. Disney, what did they do? What did they do 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, long ago? They bought Disney.
They bought everything.
Marvel. They bought everything.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. And why did they do that? They bought Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. You don't see people crying. You know what I see? I see millions of people lined up to go see the movies in the theaters, and I see 60 million people on Disney Plus.
Yep.
That's what I see. So by locking them up, you are bringing the customers to you. And, and if people have a problem with this, let me tell you something, folks. Xbox ain't done, okay? This train is just going to get going, okay? So more is coming. People thought we were crazy when we were talking about 20 and 2020. Remember that? It was a little tag phrase going around. Okay, now that's 23 and 2020. They're not even done yet. Who knows what's going to happen between now and the end of the year? It could be 25, 26. But anyways, the point is, the point is that this is what you got to do. You got to lock it down and bring the people to you. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. No, once again, bro, cool breakdown. Because I was on the same thing as you. It started out the same way for me. I thought, okay, they'll probably just keep these, multi-pad initially. But as I thought about it, I'm like, man, you do not spend that kind of money just to allow these things, just to allow everything to stay exactly the way it is. You don't go buy the building with the toilet paper. They own everything. You don't have to do that. Yeah. So you don't.
And also, don't forget, PlayStation's going to make 30% off the sale anyway.
Yeah.
If you send all their games to PlayStation, so what, you spend $7.5 billion, so PlayStation can make 30% off of every sale of Elder Scrolls 6? I don't think so.
This is a case where $15 is way more valuable than the initial $65 purchase. So I want you to spend that $15 every month. I do that $65. They're going to spend that, and they're still not going to buy an Xbox. How do you get them to buy an Xbox? Take everything away from them and say, oh, you want to play this game? Now you got to get in our ecosystem, whether it's PC, mobile, or you're going to buy yourself an Xbox. So I agree at the end of the day that I think that ultimately, even the wording, even the way they've kind of tiptoed around certain topics and the way things Phil said, Satya said, Peter Hines, Todd Howard, they've kind of tiptoed around it, but we've heard some things people saying, like, these are kind of indicating that these games are going to be locked down in the future. But we'll go with you, Stag. Next, brother, what do you feel about it? I mean, you think that they're just going to lock everything? If you think they should, that's the right thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what competition does, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Sony got Spider-Man, and what'd they do? They took Spider-Man 2 out of the Xbox ecosystem. So, I mean, yeah, do I see Xbox taking old games away from Sony? I don't know about that, but I think in the future we're definitely going to see these new games that come out from underneath the Microsoft Studios brand being a Microsoft Studios game. I mean, there's not much more to say that middle-aged game guy, already didn't say. He said everything. He really did.
Sorry.
I mean, no, you're fine. You're fine. It's just you don't spend that kind of money to, yeah, sure, in a great fantasy world, everything would be on everything, but we know that's not how this game is played. I mean, just like you said, I bought a PS4 so I could play God of War. That was the specific reason I bought a PS4. And then I was like, this is a great game. And then I saw, the Detroit game. That was a fun experience. I have a hard time calling that a game because I don't really feel like it is. It's a great experience. And then I started buying more games that were only on the PS4 because I wanted to experience that stuff. So, yeah, people have been bitching about Xbox not having the games and not having this and that. Well, they're doing everything everybody's asking for, and now people are petitioning.
That's crazy.
To put their shit on another system. Like,
that's crazy.
You. Like, just, you know what? I'm sorry if you can't afford both consoles or if you can't afford a PC. I mean, that can run these games. Pick your battles, man. You're either gonna keep playing Skyrim or whatever that you love to play, or you're gonna buy a PlayStation, right? I mean, or you're gonna buy both. I don't know.
This is a perfect example of that are you not entertained situation, because ultimately what's happened to Xbox this entire generation? This is what everybody wanted Xbox to do, I thought. Even if you're on the other side of the fence, I thought this is what you wanted Xbox.
Give us the games, give us the studios.
Yeah,
granted, now the argument's like, well, they haven't shown us anything yet. Well, it takes time. Oh, that's right. Games only take a month to make. I forgot about that. My bad. But I mean, it's look, Xbox has seen what subscription-based services. I mean, just like all the TV networks are doing now, and HBO, they've seen how it works from like the Netflix platform, Amazon Prime, Hulu. They see that that it works and customers flock to it. So they're making a gaming subscription service that's doing pretty fucking well. It went from 10 to 15 million, right?
Like what, 4 or 5 months? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just like middle-aged gamer. Sorry, I keep calling you gamer.
You can just call me Mag, by the way. Everybody calls me Mag. It's all good.
Like as
yep.
Okay. Like you said though, Disney buying up all that shit. Microsoft saw that and saw that it worked and was like, psh, all right. Not only are we going to get, games for our platform, but we're going to get the games that people want to play, and that's going to make them get on our ecosystem. They've seen it work in other markets, so why wouldn't it work here? I don't see it backfiring. I don't see them putting their games on other consoles. I mean, granted, like, Minecraft is on everything, but that's a different deal, and they're going to honor the current deals that these companies have had before with games, that are upcoming. But after that, they have no reason to honor some kind of like system of the past, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what they're doing with like Deathloop and those kind of games. They're still going to allow those games.
They're still going to play better on the Series X.
they probably will perform better. That's kind of odd. But let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. Just get your opinion on where you're at with this. As far as exclusivity, non-exclusivity, is it pretty much at this point, is it just it's a foregone conclusion that these games are gonna be first party exclusives?
Well, before we start, since we're laying all the cards on the table, my name is Centurion1307, and I bought a PS4 to play Uncharted.
Okay, there you go.
We all bought it for a reason.
Oh man, I remember that was the whole reason why I got done having some drinks with my wife on her birthday, and we went to a Target and I bought a PS4 to play Uncharted 4. Anyways, so man, freaking back onto the subject at hand. This whole man, what could I add on to it? Exclusives, what has not been said. One thing that hasn't been said, and a lot of people probably might not like my train of thought. Go, grab a chair, sit down. Microsoft doesn't need PlayStation. Microsoft doesn't need Apple. We're already seeing that right now. Microsoft has pushed Apple to the wayside with their whole xCloud venture because they're just going to find more ways to get to people through other means and putting xCloud on other devices. And xCloud is really going to kind of pave the way. So all those people that are signing petitions to get Bethesda on PlayStation, once you're done signing up on your phone, be sure to sign into xCloud and play those exclusives that you're crying to be on your console. So, some games are going to be exclusive. I'm sorry. It's just going to be what they're going to do. As Stagger touched on, they created a very big monster called Game Pass. It's actually becoming very successful. Funny part is, about this time last year, I touted Microsoft had somewhere around 9.5 million subscribers in Game Pass, and I literally got pretty much tied to a stake.
I remember that. I remember that.
I mean, you don't know that. What's your source?
Yeah.
What's your source? And I was like, well, when you do simple math and you kind of think about it, but what do I know? So anyways, definitely they got to feed the beast that is Game Pass. And we've all seen that Game Pass is not game fodder. Games don't go there to die. Half-ass games are not for Game Pass, as we all see. They are willing to delay a game as big as Halo Infinite to make sure that it's done right. So they could have just thrown it in Game Pass and said, oh, it's Game Pass fodder. What do you expect? But definitely at the same time, what people need to also wrap their mind around, the titles that do appear on PlayStation. 1, you will not be receiving them day in day in any subscription service that PlayStation will be offering. 2, you will be paying more on the PS5 for the version of that game because that is just what PlayStation wants. No matter, PlayStation came out and said all games on the PS5 are more expensive. So it not only are, like, guys, come on, it's becoming expensive a little bit at this point, and this is because regretfully PlayStation has taken this stance on we like sacred gardens and creating extremely exclusive content, and they've kind of backed themselves into a corner at this point to the, like, I like how one media journalist put it, we're actually going to see a software war. Like all these guys are going to be buying up all these software developers to be like, oh, I own this guy and this is exclusive and this person's exclusive over there. It's going to probably get asininely crazy, especially if Amazon and Google jump up into the whole mix.
Yeah.
So definitely, though, I really want to see PlayStation and Xbox definitely rise above both Amazon and Google. Because I'm a traditionalist. I like my big three: Nintendo, Xbox, all of them. Exclusives are what attract people to the platform. But what people can't seem to wrap their minds about, the idea of an exclusive in Microsoft's eyes, is Microsoft has one of the most accessible ecosystems in gaming. That's what people need to look at. Like, if we want to talk exclusive, we want to talk about ecosystem and the size of the ecosystem. And Microsoft has created one of the most accessible ecosystems, and it's becoming more accessible with inventions of xCloud. And that's what people need to understand. I'm tired of the traditional exclusives. If you want to see where traditional exclusives get you, look at what's happening to PlayStation. The only thing they really have to rely on at this point is first party. And they, I've seen numerous articles that first party content is drip fed.
Well, that's because they're that's been their biggest success. That's the biggest thing with Sony. That's strongest feature of their platform is their first party studios and the games they put out. So I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because when the games do drop, they do extraordinarily well generally. So it kind of balances itself out, even though the games don't have long plays. Nobody's playing The Last of Us 2 right now. I'm sorry.
Well, now, can we say the games do successfully well because somehow PlayStation makes people just clamoring to get a hold of these games? Well,
I mean,
and, like everybody buys them up, and nobody because if you really look at how many people complete them.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to take credit away from the game. I mean, these games have built, a big enough fan bases and built foundations to where they have that kind of draw. And to be honest with you, I've always said this, like Xbox gamers, Sony gamers, we're weaned on different things. Like we're just used to different things. Those are the kind of games that their fan base are used to. This is formula. Over the shoulder, third party, photorealistic, mature. Did I miss anything? What am I missing? What am I missing? Nothing. That's the formula. It's not a bad formula. It works.
It's not a bad formula, but on that thread, like they sold 100 million consoles, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man sold 13 million copies.
That means you had 13% of your consumer base support your product. In my world, my boss would be like, "What the hell? No, like 13%."
Yeah, that's not a good return on it.
I'm just saying, like, it's a glorified FIFA Madden machine and COD machine. Like, look, it's great. They have great single player experiences, but they don't. 13 million.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll throw this over to you.
What's your base doing? So,
well, let's get this over to Fuzz, and we can go ahead and get on to the next topic and wrap this thing up. But man, it's interesting to see. But let's go ahead and get to you, Fuzz. Exclusivity. Are they keeping everything, the way it is, man? Where you at on that?
Well, you guys hit on all the key points on this. Although initially I thought that there would still be a handful that they would keep, multi-plat, just to be the good guy in the market space, for like a multiplayer, cross-play type of title, like if they do another 76 type of thing. I mean, they're going to continue to support 76 on other platforms. They're going to, honor the contract on Ghostwire as well as Deathloop. But outside of that, I mean, the more I look at it, I would say the only way you get like a Deathloop 2 or Ghostwire 2 on a PlayStation is if somehow, those titles do amazingly well for that fan base as far as selling over 10 million copies. And we only get like maybe 1 million people on the Xbox and PC side that even download it or interact with the game. Maybe they'll consider those to continue, but honestly, their goal is Game Pass and luring people to subscribe to that service. And the only way you do that is if you have, carrots or draws to that service. So there, as it stands right now, and it seems like even like they're creme de la creme of like with was it Starfield? That one originally people were like, oh yeah, it's going to be on PlayStation. Every time someone over at Microsoft or Bethesda gets asked about it, it just gets mentioned as Xbox and PC. So that tells you, they're not going to bother with taking anything that was not fully announced on that platform and put it on that platform. If it was previously mentioned, you'll see it there. But otherwise, it's either buy it on Xbox, buy it on your PC, or subscribe to Game Pass and play it on your phone. That simple as that.
Okay. I'm gonna throw something out to you real quick, middle age, just rapid fire here, real quick, brother.
Yeah.
So I'm 3 games, or 2 games in particular. I just want you to say exclusive or not. Starfield.
Exclusive.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Exclusive.
All right. So okay, because I just want to see if you no, I just because I mean those games are.
Can we put that screaming cowboy music in the background as we say exclusive?
No, we're not. But no, so I just want to do that real quick because I'm on the same page. I think both of those are not going to be on PlayStation as well. So
100% they won't. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. So okay.
On PC too.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I want to add on PTK, like once xCloud becomes a thing, I wonder how many videos there's going to be on YouTube of some people trying to show how to use xCloud on the Sony web interface.
The other people are probably going to try and do that.
Outputs they have set up.
Dude, I would not be surprised if Microsoft has a workaround put in for that. Just like, oh yeah, just come over here. Don't worry, just use the web interface.
I'm surprised they haven't done that or focused on that for the iPhone. But yeah, I already got my what do you call them? My Android ordered. So bye bye.
Loopholes are only for Amazon. Remember that. Amazon is the only one that's allowed to use the loophole card with Apple.
I want to ask you one more question, Miles, before we move on to this last topic.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Don't you just brought up a great point about Sony being caught out of position as far as everything that's been going on. So we've talked about Sony being very un-Sony like the last 10 months. They're doing everything the opposite of what we probably would expect out of Sony. So do you think it's just them being caught out of position, or is it like, I mean, what else could it be at this point after 10 months?
I just don't think they were ready. To be quite honest, I think that they needed another year. This is my personal feeling, okay? This is not like a fanboy thing. Yeah. I think that they were going to launch 2021, and I don't think they realized how quickly and how fast Microsoft was going to move. And Microsoft ain't waiting for nobody. I'll tell you that right now. They're leaving if you're not on the train, you're getting run over by it. Because there's enough playing games, no pun intended. But I mean, from 2014 and on, or 2015 and on, they knew exactly what their game plan was. They came at it, and I think that Sony was the reason why Sony's being un-Sony right now is because they're scrambling, trying to play catch up to what Microsoft is doing. And I'll tell you something else, by the way. I'm standing on this hill, okay? I'll tell you right now that if the majority of PS5s are not coming out in 2020, I could tell you that right now. There's going to be a handful of consoles that are going to get out to their customers, pre-orders or not. That's what I think is going to happen, and I think the majority of it's going to get pushed to 2021. What I think they've done is that they gave the launch date. They gave, a certain amount of PS5s are going to be going out, and I think that's just to save face, to just, to save a little face in light of Xbox's launch. But I can tell you right now, it won't even be close.
Yeah,
and that's why. I think they weren't ready.
And I tend to agree with that. For a long time, I was just of the mind that they'll be fine, because they have such a strong brand, and ultimately, I still think they'll be okay.
Well, they'll be fine, but this is going to be a PS3 era. Okay?
I don't know, man.
They're going to pick up at the end of the gen, halfway through the end of the gen when Uncharted 5 comes out.
And then all their fanboys are going to be like, "See, we won again."
Yeah, well, they could say whatever they want, but
they're actually
all of them are also going to have Series S's too. So the
Sony fans are all going to meet up at the command center with Zordon and the rest of the Power Rangers, and they're all going to be talking about, all right, guys, we need to go out, Walmart, GameStop, and we need to buy multiple PlayStations. We need to make sure that the MPDs are fluffed.
If you can get one.
What are you talking about?
Well, anytime they come out, it's like everybody's got bots. We got to buy them up. We got to buy them up and resell them for $1,500.
So ultimately,
I the same thing that Meg just said for weeks on the show. Like, got caught with their pants down.
Yeah.
They weren't ready to launch. I'm telling you, they were going to shoot for 2021.
And I think, and the reason I agree with that is because every single move they've made seems to be reactionary rather than something that was already pre-planned.
Not at all. No.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that.
Anybody thinks they are, they're delusional.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap that up. We'll move on to this last topic. Shout out to everybody watching this. All the new people. I'm seeing new names in the chat. I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Once again, we are streaming on Twitter. You can watch us there too live. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Hit the like button. Don't forget, if you're new here, please, thank you for the support. Hit the like button again. That's awesome. As well as hit the subscribe button. You guys are amazing. So let's go ahead and talk about this last topic here. We're going to be talking a little bit about Crunch. Talk a little bit about CD Projekt Red and what happened with them this week. Now, we got information. When I initially wrote this, we didn't have the second part of the information. We got more information as the week going on. Now, we've had this issue with multiple different publishers and or studios throughout this generation about crunch and finishing games on time and overworked developers. So in this particular situation, we got some more information essentially saying it was like paid overtime. So I know people jumped on them immediately right away with the initial article. So we just want to talk about that a little bit. So we'll start with you, Middle-Age. Where are you at on that? I mean, ultimately finding out the additional news that it's paid overtime. I mean, some people work 6 days a week every week. or even
Yeah.
7. So for me, just being having a normal job, I guess you would speak normal, quote unquote, that's not anything out of the ordinary for somebody like myself. So where you at on that, Middle-Age?
Well, let me tell you something. I have a biased opinion on this because of what I actually do in my career. But let me tell you something. You do crunch. Okay? Sorry. Okay? You crunch now. Okay? The delay time is over for this game. And in general, you got to put in crunch at some point. You got to put your noses to the grindstone, and, as we say up here in Canada, okay? You get her done. Okay? Just get it done. It's too close to launch, okay? Especially with the CD Projekt Red business. It's too close to launch. There's too much at stake to do this now. It's really going to sour that sweet relationship that CD Projekt Red has with their fan base. Okay. Yeah. Now, also, it's not like they're chaining them to their desks. I mean, give me a break. They're working 6-day weeks, fully paid, by the way, and it's only for 4 weeks. Sorry to sound a little harsh, but boo-hoo. Let me tell you a quick, guys, a very, 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 very quick story. Okay. I've been an executive chef for about 2.5 decades. Okay. Christmas season would come. The corporate party, shindigs, etc., whatever. From November 1st, we would work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, okay, from November 1st to January 1st. The last day of October, our next day off would be January 1st, and we worked 16 hours a day, and we never got a dime of overtime pay, okay, hundreds of overtime hours, and all we got, if you were lucky, you got a $400 or $500 bonus. Anyways, the point is this. Those are the old days. I'm still a chef, but I'm in a corporate situation now, okay? I got a corporate job now. So now there's no more of that, but there are still millions of people out there working like that still to this day. So the fact that these guys are working 4 weeks, 6 days, fully compensated, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like the only people making this an issue are people who are still living at home. Okay, let me just put it straight to you. Okay, it sounds like the people who are still living at home, and they still have yet to put in some real work in their lives. The way I look at it, that's my take, okay? So maybe, some people agree, some people disagree, but I don't know. If you think I'm being too old school or an archaic in my thoughts, well, guess what? My name is the middle-aged game guy. So, let's face it. I'm an old dude. I'm an old school guy, but, you got to work, and it's only 4 weeks.
It's such a touchy subject, though. It's such a touchy subject. There's always there's no fine line. The lines get blurred on either side. But I'm with you. I mean, ultimately, now finding out the additional news, I mean, the game's been pushed back. I mean, you have tons of goodwill with gamers. At this point, finding out that it wasn't really it was paid and it wasn't really the situation.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I just kind of think that, okay, they have to work a little harder now. The game's getting closer to come out. I just didn't find that big of a deal about it. I know a lot of people went off the rockers, let them go home and
let them go home. Like I said, they're not being chained to their desks.
Yeah, and it's they got a game to put out. It's a product. And you have a time frame. You're getting paid to put the game out in a particular amount of time. So I don't know, man. But I can understand the point of both sides. But let's get over to you, Stag. I mean, we're speaking a lot. I know me and middle-aged are probably speaking just from we're a little older. All of us in here a little older, and it just sometimes you got to put in the extra work. I'm sure all of us here worked a ton of overtime, whether we wanted to or not, to get some shit done, whether we wanted to get it done or not. So it's just, for me, you're just going through the motions. You're a dev. You kind of know what you signed up for. I'm sure that's not the first time they're working long days and nights. I'm probably at some point throughout the process they've done the same thing. So let's get this to you, Stag. Where you at on this, man? When you heard about it, just where you at on the whole crunch situation? This is something we've been hearing a lot throughout this generation.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle here. I get everything Meg was just saying, and I appreciate that. And I'm old school too. I mean, I worked at Amazon in 1998 till early 2000s, and crunch was a way of life year round there. And then Christmas was even crazier. I mean, mandatory voluntary overtime was a thing. It was it's voluntary, but if you don't stay, we're gonna mark a little thing next to your name. I mean, it was time and a fucking half, and it was good ass money because I was working night shift. But still, it was one of those things where it's I didn't really have a choice, And my wife still works for Amazon. She's salaried, but talking stories about careers, from pretty much now till January, it's crunch, for that company. It's and it's even worse now because of, the COVID stuff, and we can't go a lot of places like we used to. But so my wife, she already works a ton. She's working from home. She's crunching constantly, and there's no overtime pay, So part of me doesn't feel bad at all for, these guys consist of 6 days a week. It's paid. You signed up for this. This is what you do for a living. But another part of me is like, mistakes are made when you work extra hours and you push extra hard. So I don't want it to reflect on like the game. Releasing with a problem that could have maybe been or not happened because they gave it an extra month. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this game is on my radar, but it's not a huge on my radar like another guy who's going to talk here in a minute. But,
everybody else, you mean?
Yeah, everybody else in the world except for me. I'm like, yeah, I got pre-ordered, but I have like fucking 40 games pre-ordered right now. So, man, I don't like exhausting people in general. Like, and I know it's a thing, and I know it needs to happen sometimes. I do wish, that part of me wishes that, I guess I'm a little bit too progressive sometimes, but like we could plan better, not worry so much about deadlines, and the world would all be fucking unicorns and rainbows and butterflies and candy for all. But that's not the world we live in, and I don't think we should be worried about the crunch. They're getting amply compensated for it. Am I wrong, or was there something about profit sharing too?
Profit sharing's in it. It's like 10% of the overall.
I mean, I don't feel bad for them. not when you throw in overtime and profit sharing. I don't feel bad. Like, I worked for just time and a half, and there was no profit sharing. I did it. A lot of us have done it. I mean, I don't, like you said, those people that are still living at home and haven't really gotten their feet wet into the workforce.
Dude, if my job offered profit sharing, I'd be buying you guys cars.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
The workers work, and that's the reality of the system that we all live in. The workers work, and you put in the extra work when it has to be done because you're a worker.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, ultimately, it's like you said.
I don't think it's a good system or the best. I'm just saying that is the system.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, let's go ahead and Centurion. Where you at on this, man? So, I mean, when you initially heard about it because obviously we had to amend the information that came out because the way Jason Schreier put it out, it wasn't really all the information wasn't there. At least it wasn't easily visible.
Well, of course, anything that guy puts out has an agenda.
We're not going to dive into him. We not. This show go a whole another hour.
Anyway, where am I at on this? So I'm going to kind of take the same approach as Mag here in Stagger. So I handle trailer products for a company here in Arizona, and as soon as the world heard pandemic in about March, April, they all lost their damn mind, and they bought trailer products at an asinine rate. The company I work for pulls products from about 30 manufacturers all across the United States, and I'm in charge of a department, and I actually control about 10 distributors that bring in all this product, and we're talking about a $500,000 department that I run on a regular basis. And since April of this year, I have been pulling anywhere from 45 to 60 hours plus running this department. Yes, I'm paid overtime. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bonus at the end of the year, but it's not going to be anywhere to the scale, to the amount of revenue that I know this place is generating. And it's just what I do to pay my bills. And, these guys right here, I'm pretty sure when they see profit sharing, I'm pretty sure there's not a whole lot of them that are upset over having to have a little bit of extra time to get all that extra money. And also, this is just how it works. Regretfully, I do wish trailers of TP. Actually, that's funny, Stagger, because we were actually involved in a incident of a trailer of TP actually tipping over on a freeway. Anyways, it's just how it works. I really wish we lived in a society where, people were a little bit more laid back, weren't as frantic about getting stuff done. But definitely it doesn't work that way. And I'm pretty sure how many times has Cyberpunk been delayed? I think it's been like 2 or 3.
I think twice.
Yeah. And the game has been in development for a very long time. I understand that there's going to be probably some issues because, Cyberpunk is a very, very complex game, and they would prefer it more on the Series X side of things and the PS5 side of things when it comes to hardware. But at this time, it's it is what it is. It's time to get this game out, and crunch just happens to be part of the developer world. I've listened to other developers on other shows, and the funny part is, one thing that they don't mention is that when these times of crunch occur, generally there's also a time where like, oh, you're going to work 6 days a week for this month, get paid overtime, blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden you're the following month you actually have more time off than you normally do to make up for that as well. But yeah, crunch is just a way of life. It's happening to me. As a matter of fact, my boss went and decided to get his girl knocked up. They're having their first kid, and he's gone for the entire month of October. I found out this week that I will be working 6 days a week the entire month of October, and it's going to be a blast.
All right, well, let's throw this over to you, Fuzz, before we go ahead and wrap up the show. So we're going to end with you. About crunch, man, just where you at. I mean, I know a lot of us are speaking from just like a standard 9-to-5 perspective, because that's, we're working in the industry, so it's hard for us to really fathom. Okay, you're getting profit sharing, you're still getting paid overtime. Like, what's the issue here? But let's go ahead and throw this to you, Fuzz. Where you at, man?
All right, I'm gonna be that guy. The first time I heard about it, I was selfish. I was like, God damn right, they better crunch, because this game needs to come out. I'm sorry. I know that's not the right way to look at things, but this game's already been pushed back at least twice. Yeah, it's only a game, but yeah, come on. I understand what's going on as far as with COVID and remote work and all that stuff, but yeah, they need to get shit going. Aside from that, thinking on it, hearing more info or more details as far as the pay structure and stuff, after working on websites and going through crunch in my own employer, where I was salary and getting a bonus based on profit sharing, it doesn't sound like this is that bad of a deal. I mean, the only thing that I had an advantage of versus them is that we got like launch night for the new site. We got Outback. Anything we wanted, comped. Everything that was on the menu, you ordered it. If it was 2 lobster tails and a T-bone, yeah, you got it. No problem. That was like launch night. So it was like, okay, we went in at 8, and some of us didn't leave until 2 a.m, but the site went up. So, but in the grand scheme of things, they're getting a portion of the proceeds. If this game does, let's say, 10 million copies, I think somebody had already did the math on it. It winds up being something like 50,000 will be their bonus, which is pretty sweet. Yeah. Considering the number of employees or whatnot and stuff. But hey, is it hard work? Sure. I mean, but it's part of anytime you're dealing with programming, anytime you're dealing with, at least my experience with websites and stuff like that, there's crunch involved. You have a certain deadline, and you have like a no later than time. So if you were expected to get this thing out in October and it didn't make it, then it might be late October that it gets pushed back to. And then when that gets missed, then the guy that's, signing all the checks probably gets a little pissed and is like, what the F, you guys are going to do something to get this thing by my date of November 15th or whatever. And hey, if it means overtime, hey, it means overtime. But, some people are going to just have to, head down, nose to the grindstone and get it done. But yeah, it's not that I don't feel bad for them. It's like, but it's part of the business. It's part of a lot of different jobs out there, and at least they're being compensated properly. Hopefully the work environment is still, as peachy as it appears on the outside when they do like their interviews and things like that. But I wish them the best. I hope for as problem-free as it can be game by launch time, but man, best of luck to them when this thing sells like hotcakes and pre-orders and whatnot come in and they get a piece of that pie. So,
all right,
I just want my game.
Man, so I mean, as gamers, we're speaking from a place. Obviously, as gamers, we're a bit selfish. We want the game, we want it to come out. We've seen it the last 3-4 years, 2-3 years, I'd say. Trailers, videos, deep dives, everything. We just want the game, so it's kind of tough. Kind of speaking from a selfish kind of position here, perspective. So let's go ahead and wrap everything up here, man. But so once again, another great show. It's been an amazing experience having a middle-aged on the show. We'll get to the panel here in a second, but I want to give a big shout out to all of you guys that came out today and watched this live. Show ran a little later, but man, we had so much fun talking to you guys. Once again, retweet on your way out, like on your way out. As far as Twitter goes, once again, keep track of everything that's going on there. That's where you'll get all the updates. But we're going to start here with the guest of the hour, man. I appreciate you, middle-aged gamers, for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you had a good time. We went a little bit longer than we normally would, but thank you for sticking it out with us, man. Let everybody know as everybody's kind of filing out where they can find you, what day and what time you guys are going on. And just, once again, I appreciate you hanging out with us, brother.
Oh, thank you very much for the invite. I actually had a great time tonight. It was an awesome show, great panel, great chat. Had a really good time, and thank you for inviting me. And if you'll have me back, I'll come back. Absolutely. So, anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at the Middle Age Game Guy. That's with a GY at the end. And of course, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find me with none other than Mr. Boomstick XL and friends on Primetime Gaming. And you can also find me on Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the one and only legendary Nukem and Titan Drago. So you can find me on those two shows every single week. And again, everybody, panel and chat. That's what I meant to say. And of course, PTK Blam, thank you for inviting me. I had a great time. Everybody have a great night, great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. You've been amazing. And once again, I do this with every guest. You got a free pass. You like family now, brother. So anytime you may get a random DM from me one week saying, "Hey, man, you available?" So I just appreciate you coming on the show, man, sharing.
Hey, dude, wait a minute. You made me push a peanut across the floor with my nose.
Hey, man, don't be. Look, we got to see. Look, this is why I be cutting the show. I'm gonna have to edit that out later.
No.
But anyway, no. But either way, you've been amazing, man. Thank you for just coming on, blessing us, man, this weekend. But any other time, bro, hit me up. You want to come on? But once again, you're always welcome, brother. Man, thank you very
much. I appreciate it, brother.
Not a problem. And listen, I was trying to avoid the whole shout out to Mooch. I was trying to avoid the whole comparison Mooch thing. I know it is what it is. Are you Italian?
I'm Italian, and funny. My family's from New York, and we emigrated up to Canada in the 70s. So, and then I was born up here. So, and I've been here ever since. But yeah, okay. So you know what? We're cut from the same cloth. What do you want from me? All right. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I was yelling. Let me tell you something. I was yelling a lot longer than he is because he's younger than me. Okay, by a couple of years. I'm a couple of years older. So technically, I've been yelling before him. So
that's true.
And hey, being a chef, you got to yell in that damn kitchen. Otherwise, no one's going to hear you.
That's true. That's true. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, man, coming on, man. It was such a good time. Let's go ahead and get to my three amigos, man. Stag, let everybody know what's going on with you. Where they can find you at, brother.
Like, absolutely nothing's going on with me other than the streaming. Like, legit, man. I'm just streaming, struggling with insomnia, playing games and having fun. And I'm here every Saturday, of course. It was a pleasure to meet you tonight, Meg. I'll just go ahead and go like that because I keep fucking your name up.
Good. Just Meg is nice.
I did. Like, I was feeling good. Like, this week's insomnia was horrible, and I've got a couple good nights sleep, but it's kind of caught up to me at the end of the show tonight. But it's been great. You guys can catch me on Twitch at Staggerilla Tuesday through Saturday. So, and then here on Saturday nights.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you, man. Stag, you guys know. I don't even need to go over
I'm the most unimportant person on the show.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, let's throw this over to Centurion. We appreciate you, Stag. And the chat does. Chris definitely appreciates you. But anyway,
he does.
Centurion, let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Oh, man. So, for those interested, you can be sure to follow me on Xbox Live playing Anthem Flight Simulator. Star Wars Squadrons. No. Oh, man. Sorry, just got to keep doing it, PTK. I can't help it. But now, in all seriousness, for those interested, if you really want to find me, please follow me on Twitter, over on Xbox Live, and on YouTube at Centurion1307. I'm definitely getting back on the content hog, even though I'm working way too much. I have said to my boss that I do want to have more time to create content, so definitely working that out with them. But definitely also be sure to find me every Saturday night right here with these guys, PTK Blam, Fuzzy, Stag, and also really thank you, Middle Age Game Guy, Mag. It was really nice to meet you. Also, you can find me on Sunday nights on TXR over on the Xbox Roundtable with Invader and the rest of the guys.
Shout out to TXR as well. And before I move on, shout out to Boom, Primetime Gaming, everybody over there. Boom's my guy, man. Boom's been on the show a few times, so shout out to you, brother. Me and him got to hook up again soon, man. It's always fun. Thank you for loaning us one of your panel members, Boom. I appreciate it. I'll send it back in one piece, I promise. But last but not least, we got Mr. ASMR. Mag, you didn't notice, but we're starting the OnlyFans for Fuzzy's voice. All right, we need some contributions here, so just put the word out.
This is where everybody puts on both headphones.
Exactly, and we all fall asleep within 5 minutes of the Fuzzy's awesome voice. But no, all jokes aside, shout out to you, Fuzz. Everybody know what's going on with you, brother.
Thank you for joining us tonight. No,
see it? You know what I'm saying?
Can you just start giving the weather?
Tonight's weather is I can't do it tonight. But man, awesome being here with you guys. Thanks for joining us, Middle Age Game Guy.
Thank you.
Always great having the chat on this podcast and everybody being interactive and everything along those lines. Just so much fun talking shop with you guys. You can find me on Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can find me on Instagram, Fuzzy Belvedere. You can find me on PSN, Fuzzy Space Belvedere. Oh no, I'm sorry, Fuzzy_Belvedere on Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere. Normally playing some Forza game or some sort of racing game, but we'll be playing a lot of Squadrons here later. But thanks for everybody joining us, man. Awesome time as always.
Last but not least, your boy PTK Blam across the board. Xbox Live, PTK Blam, Twitter, same thing. Hit me up if you want to play some games. Once again, follow me if you want to know what's going on with the podcast, as well as give me some feedback on what you guys think of the new digs, how the stream is looking, everything like that. I always love feedback, man, whether positive or if you guys think I need to make some changes, let me know. Otherwise, man, I appreciate all the support. We're almost, man, we're pushing. We're getting some subscribers lately. You guys have been watching the podcast, and I thank you guys so much for that. So we're going to continue to grind, work hard, make this show the best it could possibly be for you guys. So shout out to all you. We'll be here same place, same time next week. New gamers, man. We're out of here, man. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Out of here, man.
Later.